No one would consider being left-handed a condition. It's just a trait. It's not inherently better or worse than being right-handed. The only problem is that the world was built for right-handed people. Welcome back to NeuroConversant Leadership, where we talk about effective leadership and communication, especially in the STEM workplace. I'm Jeremy Doran, and I love to help great technical people become great leaders. Lately, a lot of my writing's been about people with various conditions like ADHD, dyslexia, autism, a bunch of others. And one thing I found is that each one has its own strengths and challenges, but many of the challenges don't actually come from the condition themselves. They come from the fact that our society isn't built for them. Think about the people you know who are left-handed, which is somewhere around 10% of the population. No one would consider being left-handed a condition. It's just a trait. It's not inherently better or worse than being right-handed. The only problem is that the world was built for right-handed people. Golf clubs, scissors, can openers, guitars, they're almost always designed for righties. Guitars you just need to restring for left-handed people. If left-handed people were in the majority, my guess is that our writing would be from right to left, and the smearing of ink or chalk would become a problem for the right-handed people. As a right-handed person myself, I never even notice that everything was designed for me, and it never occurs to me that the left-handed people are constantly problem-solving. They can do everything that a right-handed person can do. It just takes a little more conscious thought and effort, sometimes getting different tools. In fact, there are a number of things that left-handed people do better than right-handed people because they spend so much time problem solving, they develop a skill at it. The same type of challenge can apply to many different traits. In school, class participation is always a big thing. In corporate America, speaking up in meetings and being a team player are all sought after behaviors. And that's great for extroverts. For introverts, it's a challenge. We can do it. Of course we can. It just takes more energy and conscious effort. It's tiring and it drains some energy that could be used elsewhere. Being a non-native speaker is another great example. Studies show that non-native speakers are doing more mental work in real time. They're retrieving words, paying attention to grammar, etc. Even when they are highly fluent and you may not even notice that they have an accent, the extra effort required is real. Being in a society that wasn't built for you is certainly doable. It just takes more work. And for neurodivergent people, it's even harder than that. My good friend, Dr. Matt Zakreski, two-time guest of the show, related having ADHD to being 7 feet tall. Now, in a vacuum, being 7 feet tall is no harder than being 5 feet tall. There are some advantages to being 7 feet. There are some advantages to being 5 feet. But all in all, they approximately even out. But being 7 feet tall in our world is a dramatically different story. If you want to play basketball or volleyball, it's fantastic. Other than that, everyday things can be a struggle. Imagine needing to duck through every doorway that you ever go through. Can you do it? Sure. But it requires you to pay a little extra attention and make a little extra effort every single time. And it's something that most of us never even think about. What if you want to get on an airplane? I'm not sure at 7 feet, even a first class seat would be comfortable. Back to the idea of buying golf clubs. Any club you buy is going to need to be specially adapted for your height. And when you shop for clothing, you're probably going to need to go to specialty stores. Being neurodivergent is exceptional in the same way that being 7 feet tall is. There are some very serious advantages, but fitting into a society that was built for neurotypical people means that a lot more energy needs to get expended in order to fit in, which sometimes makes it so that the exceptionally good qualities get overlooked. The ability to hyper-focus, for example, is an amazing gift when you need to devise complex solutions. But the inability to stay focused on what the teacher in school wants you to stay focused on can be a serious problem. I just went over a few examples. In my newsletter, I go into much more depth on all of these conditions specifically and then generally. I also write about many different traits which could never be considered conditions, but they can make getting along in society a little bit more challenging. And a lot of it is because people who are neurodivergent or have certain traits tend to communicate in different ways than most people. We all make assumptions about how communication works for the other person, and those assumptions are very often wrong, especially when it comes to people who are neurodivergent. I'm going to put a link in the show notes so that you can sign up for the newsletter. You can also sign up for my book launch VIP list. So sign up for that and then share it with someone else who you think would enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to talking with you again next week.